So I got a question for you, Bearly. I can't remember what it is though.
You can't remember?
No.
Well, I've got answers. Would you like? I can give you some answers.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll help jog your memory.
give me some answers, and it won't remember anything. But I'd like some answers anyway.
Okay. Well, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Does that help?
Oh, that's it. It doesn't, but that's good.
That's an answer. 15.
That's a great answer.
William Shakespeare.
Oh, that's an amazing answer. You're doing great.
Mount Everest.
Oh, I don't know if that's as good as the other answers, but I'll take it.
But none of those help with the question that you had.
I have no idea, and thanks for asking.
Oh, right. Well. This is Bearly Furcasting, featuring Taebyn, an Injured Nerves audio production. Well, it's time once again to get this podcast rolling. Rollin'. Keep that podcast rollin'.
Podcast.
Well, hello everyone out in the Podiverse. Thanks for that little tiny musical interlude that I just gave you. Well, not thanks for you. I did it, so thanks for listening to it.
Thanks for you, I guess.
I don't know. It's like, I am one of your hosts, Barely Normal, and with me as always, because if he wasn't here, it would not be Barely Forecasting featuring Taebyn, is Taebyn. How are you, Taebyn?
Hi, Barely. I'm doing good. And yes, for any of our listeners out there, my name is Taebyn. I'm at Pup Bark Bark. And how are you doing on this fine day and week, Barely?
Well, I've got a wee bit of a sore throat.
Oh, wee.
And I was coughing up a storm yesterday, but I didn't have a fever.
Did it cause rain over New Hampshire?
Snow.
It caused... Wow, that's quite a storm you coughed up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I don't have a fever, so it's not the COVID, thank God.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good thing.
So let's jump right into...
Help me, I moved my thing and I can't move it back.
I moved my thing and I can't move it back.
That's what we're jumping into now.
I've moved my thing and I can't move it back. Well, only Taebyn would have that problem.
It's a new segment of the show, I guess. I don't know.
I moved my thing and I can't move it back. But last time today. So we have a lot actually in last time today.
Oh, my fluff.
We talked about Proust last week.
Will you remind me about, because I don't remember now.
Yeah, we talked about Proust. I don't remember what it was, but we talked about it. And so Proust was a French novelist that was in the late 1800s. He was born in 1871 and died in 1922.
Long time ago.
Almost 100 years ago is when he died. It's hard to believe that 1922 was 100 years ago.
That's scary, yeah.
Yeah, right? He was a French novelist, critic, and essayist who wrote the monumental novel À la recherche du temps perdu. Did I say that right? Or good?
À la recherche du temps perdu.
Which means in search of lost time.
I can attest to that because French and stuff.
French and stuff. The only French I ever took in high school was how to kiss.
I took a baguette once, and that was the French I took. And the fry. I took the...
There's a song like that. I don't know much about his... Never mind.
Don't know much about the French I took.
So, and then we talked about whether a raccoon...
Or wait,
wait.
What you didn't say the full name of the Proust guy.
Oh, it's Valentin Louis Georges Eugène Marcel Proust.
Valentin Louis Georges Eugène Marcel Proust.
You know, I kind of wonder why people gave their kids so many freaking names back then.
There was a huge population boom back then.
Apparently.
And we needed a lot of names.
It's like, so you could... Oh, you're Valentin Louis Georges Eugene Michael Proust, not Marcel Proust. Okay,
it's like a zip code thing. They needed a zip code for the actual specific population of children back then.
Which brings us to whether a raccoon is a rodent. No.
Oh, no.
A raccoon is not a rodent. And moving along. No. It's a procyon. Procyon. It's a genus of nocturnal mammals, comprising 3 species commonly known as raccoons. So there is...
all 3, like people just commonly call all 3 species raccoons, but they're actually different.
So they are like the ringtail cats, the cacomissals.
The cacomissals? That's like a witch that's going to war because she does a cackle missile. Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
That's how it
Caco missiles, there we go. At one point, we talked about REM sleep. We mentioned that REM sleep, I said it was only about 4 or 5 minutes. You said it was 90 minutes. And so I looked it up. Now, this is not a simple subject to summarize.
Oh.
Yeah. So buckle
Oh.
in for your science with Bearly. So
that poor witch that's on her way to Mars because of her cackle
yes,
missile, she has to buckle in
she has
to
to buckle in to
I
get her
don't
REM
even know.
sleep. Right.
No.
So humans, now I know we're talking about furries as well, but humans usually experience about 4 or 5 periods of REM sleep every night, and they're usually shorter than 15 minutes at the beginning of the night and longer, usually greater than 25 minutes towards the end.
Okay.
So many animals, furries, and people tend to wake up or experience a period of very light sleep for a short time immediately after a session of REM sleep.
Which means
And
rapid eye movement, by the way,
yes,
for
it
any for that
does.
doesn't know.
The relative amount of REM sleep varies considerably with age.
Hmm.
So the younger you are, you spend more time in REM sleep. The older you are, you spend less time in REM sleep.
Ah, really? Okay.
Yeah. And it only occurs about 20 to 25% of the total sleep cycle, which is about 90 to 120 minutes is a sleep cycle for humans.
Oh, that's the 90 I was thinking about, I
Yes.
guess. Okay, okay.
So there you go. And depending on how old you are, you might actually get more time REM or less time REM. Science with Bearly.
She blinded me with science.
That explains why, in order to get to sleep, you count sheep because you need your RAM sleep.
RAM sleep, yes.
And they do RAM sleep too. They get
Rams do sleep. And then we talked about Sesame Street.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
We talked about a lot.
I know people can't watch Sesame Street anymore if you don't have an HBO subscription, and I was in error.
You was there a throne and you were in error to it?
So what happens is HBO Max bought Sesame Street, and they put a big budget to it. They revamped it. They got all new stuff. I guess they cleaned up the Muppets. I don't know. And
gave them a bath. It's been like
them a bath.
centuries. So
It's been since 1962 is when
they
or
haven't
60
had a bath since then. Yeah, they need to clean them up.
And then they redid the whole set and all that other kind of stuff. But HBO made a deal with PBS that they would release the episodes 9 months after they aired on HBO Max. So if you're on PBS, you can watch it and you're not watching the newer episode. You're watching the newer episodes, but it's 9 months after they originally aired.
Oh, okay. That's a little complicated, but okay.
But I mean, if you're only watching it on PBS, you don't realize that it's 9 months ago. That's when that aired.
Oh, that's right. As long as you don't care. Yeah, right. Okay. Got it.
And finally, Vlandershiel. What is a Vlandershiel? I couldn't find it.
It was a word I used last week, I think. Oh yeah, I asked you if you knew how a chicken Vandershiels.
And the answer was yes.
The answer is still yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's really all to the answer is yes.
Our chief fact checker, Rain Raccoon, pointed out that it's Jimmy Neutron, not Jimmy Neuron.
Oh,
so
right.
It's amazing what a little T will do for you.
It is, especially if it's the caffeinated kind, because then you stay up.
A little T. A little tea. What do you have, my friend?
Not as much as last week, I think. So, I mean, my last time today is just about a recent episode that I was listening to, and I finally finished. I'm a little bit behind. I just finished episode 40 today, and that's the episode where we have Summer Cat on it. So that was the episode I asked you about a golden dulcet tone. In the previous episode, I think you had mentioned that, and I didn't know what that meant. And then I don't remember when it was. Anyway, I did this huge, 10-hour-long buildup to talk about your golden dulcet tone that you mentioned in the previous episode. And it took you 2 seconds to explain it. But I had this huge buildup. Because that's what I do. Anyway, I noted that.
That is what you do, yes.
I figured you wouldn't be very surprised to hear that. And the other thing was...
I am not.
Are you not? No, the other note I had about that was our really bad joke section was actually really good. I really enjoyed listening to a really bad joke section from that particular episode. So anyway,
Nice.
those are my last time todays.
We have no messages in the mailbag. However, we do have a new family member for the BFFT family.
Yay!
Would like to welcome our new associate editor, Bixby Wolf. Welcome, Bixby.
Yay, welcome, Bixby.
He is taking the place of Canes, who had to step away due to other commitments. So we'll miss you, Canes, but welcome, Bixby. And we hope that you enjoy your time working on the podcast.
Yes, and Canes, thank you so much for all the work you did. I know things get really busy, and so you didn't have time, so you had to step down. But thank you so much for all the work you put on the podcast, and good luck in your future journeys.
Future journeys. All right, I am going to post the link, and we'll see if somebody comes in this week. Well, so while we're waiting for 10 minutes while that's going on, you said you have some cooking notes.
I do. I don't know if notes is the best word, but just things.
Okay.
So the other day, my hubby was like, so how do you feel about corn? You know, I mean, trying to think up new things for lunch and everything. And so he said, what do you think about corned beef? And I remember it, and I said, it's like, okay, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm just going to say, like last time I had some, which was a while ago, I really didn't like it, but you never know. Maybe I like it now. So we had some. Guess if I like corned beef now.
I'm going to say you don't.
You're going to be correct. The answer is this pup does not like corned beef still. So that's a good piece of trivia. But, you know, I had this question for him. What is corned beef? And we weren't. He said it was beef like prepared some special way. So we found out. But Bearly, do you happen to know what corned beef is or what it is?
Beef will always be what's for dinner. And maybe breakfast, lunch, and the occasional snack.
I know exactly what it is. And it's a brisket. And it depends on how it is prepared and how it is before you cook it. So the same brisket can be... Like if you go to a barbecue house and get brisket, that's the same piece of meat that you use for corned beef or that you use for pastrami.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because it just depends on how you prepare it before you cook it?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And how do you prepare the brisket for corned beef?
So if you're going to use corned beef, you usually boil the meat. And you use pickling spices in the water while you're cooking the corned beef. It's also preserved or packaged in a saltwater solution, whereas a regular brisket is not soaked in a saltwater solution, and you can barbecue it or other things along that line. And pastrami is you kind of pickle it in different spices, and then you dry it out a little bit so that it is sliceable for like lunch meat and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Bearly is I did actually happen to know, for all our listeners, Bearly is an amazing cook and knows things. So I figured he would actually probably know this. But the thing we found online was that it's brisket cured in salt brine and boiled. And the salt pellets that are used to make the brine are called corns. And that's why it's called corned beef.
Yes.
But you already knew that. So that's just for all our listeners, and that's something I learned. And another piece of, I mean, I can't really call this cooking notes because it's not really. So guacamole, which
you hate.
Yeah, see, I was just going to say, I think you know the answer to this. And indeed, this pup, although it's better than sour cream, I'd have to say, but I still don't like it. Barely knows things about me.
Because I have to feed you at most cons.
True.
So I don't want to buy things you're not going to eat.
Oh, I'll just get a whole, 5 vats of guacamole, and that'll keep Taebyn happy. No, it won't turn out yet. And so I was wondering what it is. I know there's avocado, so I asked Honey, what's in guacamole? And he said, I think it's avocado and banana. But then he looked it up and said, no, it's not banana.
There's no banana in it.
It's guacamole. No. I thought that was interesting, but I thought no. So it turns out no. That would make an interesting. You'd get your potassium while having your
but the flavor would be awful.
Would that not work? Okay.
No, the flavor profile would not work at all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't like avocados either, so I had no idea That would be.
Yeah.
So, what is usually comprised of in guacamole? Which probably all our listeners know, because every fur likes guacamole. So I don't
Except
know,
you.
but except me.
Yeah. Normally, it's obviously, of course, the avocado is the base, and you can use mayonnaise or sour cream as a or a mix.
Ew.
I know. So, one more other thing you don't like: sour cream inside guacamole.
That's like evil incarnate right
Right?
there.
And then usually you put like some salsa in it or some Mexican spices and stuff like that to and you mush it all up
Give
and
it
mix it all
the
up, and
Mexican
it's
flour.
yeah, and there you go. Everybody makes their guacamole a little bit different.
Mhm. I
So
have heard that. I have heard
mhm.
that. I remember, like, there was a restaurant I went to one, but they loved dogs apparently in this restaurant because I went there, and
Uh-huh.
they made their they were famous for their own making their own guacamole, like in front of you, like they bring out the avocados and all the things and seasonings and like mush it together with a wooden pike. It's not a pike. What do you call those things that you mush? It's got a rounded thing.
A musher? A
Probably
spoon?
musher, actually. No, it's a one thing. I'm gonna call it a musher. I think that's right. And so
We'll
they
just
did
call
that.
it the
I didn't
musher.
have any. I think it's a musher. And so they did that, and they were famous for that. And I didn't have any, but apparently they make their own very good guacamole in front of you. So there is that. And that's it for my cooking quote unquote notes, whatever you want to call that.
All right. So I want you to say the word toast 10 times fast.
10 times. Okay, I'll count on
Yes.
pauses.
Yeah.
Toast, 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 toast.
What do you put in a toaster?
I have to think. Toast. No, you don't
No,
put toast, you put bread. Wow. And I
Correct.
even said I have to think about this because I was thinking toast, but I thought that can't be the answer. And I still said toast anyway. That's amazing. Like,
Little brain
even
trick.
it is, even though you know that's not the right answer, you say it anyway. That's
Yep.
beautiful. That is so beautiful.
I want to voice a public complaint.
PDA complaint. PDA
Yes.
stands for complaint, apparently.
Actually, PDA stands for Public Display of Affection, which is not what I want to do right now.
Oh, so PCA, public complaint of
Things. Yes.
things.
So, every home has smoke detectors, fire detectors, right?
Hopefully.
Yes, because to keep yourself safe. And several years ago, my hubby, in an effort to become one of the first to adopt things that are connected to the interwebs, he bought these Nest. They're called Nest. It's a brand. Now it's Google Nest. Google bought them, but
Of course.
they are a special type of detector. They're hardwired into your house, and they do smoke and carbon monoxide and all sorts of things. And they have a battery backup. Now,
Okay.
each one of these devices, so one, you think one in the room, right? You need one in every room. They are over $100 for one.
And are they worth it is the first question.
Well, I would think so. He bought them all. He installed them. And
oh, he bought them all. For every room of your house?
Yes. And he
Okay.
installed them. And then 2 weeks ago, they all started beeping.
Oh, the chirping. Oh, the chirping.
Right?
Oh.
Chirping, the little burp. And I'm like, where is that coming from? And it's like
Yes.
every once a minute, right? So I found the one that was chirping. I took it down. It's like, oh, because the battery backup in there. The batteries probably need to be replaced.
Right.
So I replaced them, and I took the little canned air and I blew out the sensors and everything, and I put new batteries in, and I put it back up, and it beeped again. And I
Oh,
was
my
like,
Bearly.
I'm like, what? Why is it still beeping? So I took it down. I took the batteries out. I blew it out again. Put the batteries back in. Put it back up. Beep. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, cow.
So I took it down and I put it on the desk and I left the batteries out. And then not a day later, another one started beeping. Same problem. Then another one. Then another one. Then another one. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? So today, the final one started beeping. And the hubby was here, and he was like, why are they all on the desk and not hooked up? It's like, because they don't work anymore. He's like, well, that's ridiculous. They're expensive. They're good devices. They should work just fine.
For $100 each, you would think so.
Yeah, right? And so we're like, okay, so he looks it up. Well, come to find out, the hardware, the device, actually expires. So he put them in 2017 and they all expired 3 years later. That's why they kept beeping. And I was like,
and of course they don't tell you that because they need more money 3 years later.
So he's looking at the back, and in tiny, 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 teeny, tiny little print,
Need
It
like a
says
magnifying glass
expiration
of.
date. Yeah.
Oh
So
wow!
I had to order all new ones. I didn't get those again. I got different ones.
You learned, yes, yes.
That are 1/3 the cost. So they'll be arriving tomorrow from Prime, and I will put them up this weekend. But
Oh,
they should come with something that says these will expire in 3
in
years,
3
and you will
years,
not be able to use them anymore. But that's my
and you will
complaint.
be annoyed by their chirping after 3 years. So just let they know.
Right? Absolutely.
And I want to comment on that.
Mhm.
I want to comment on that. It's like you started to, and I don't have experience with the Nest things, but like our smoke detectors, like they do have a 10-year thing or something. I don't know, but they're the type where like they don't make these kind anymore or something. And we have a few times had that experience where it would chirp and stuff, and you take it down and try and replace the battery, and it would actually still. So as a little tangential problem to yours, it would still chirp. Like
Right.
he would take it out and the battery out, and he'd be holding it, and it would chirp.
Mhm.
And it's because it turns out it was because for this particular kind, whatever, probably the same for the Nest, they're all like connected. And so like it would chirp because it senses it's not right, and the others would chirp, and you go walking around trying to figure out which one is. Anyway,
Right.
we finally figured it out, but it was such an annoyance.
Right, and it chirps only like once a minute or once every 2 minutes. So you're sitting there and you hear
Yeah.
beep, and you're like, "Where'd that come from?"
So you have
And
to wait another like 2 minutes before you
right,
can stand where you are and
and
wait
then
for it to
usually
chirp again.
you give up and you go back, and as soon as you
And
sit
then
down,
beep.
like,
No,
"Damn
I
it."
feel your pain. I totally feel your pain right there. Yep. Yep.
All right, well, let's move on to media. What do you say?
Is what I say.
Well, I did watch an episode of Cobra Kai, and so it is time for the Cobra Kai update. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so episode 7
Okay.
is the episode that I watched this week, and this is the one where Johnny gets Cobra Kai reinstated to the All Valley Karate Tournament.
I remember that episode.
Yeah, and the story is still very aggravating to me because Danny is still holding a grudge from 1984. 1984 is when when the
Is
original
it
story took
Danny?
place.
Is it Danny holding the grudge or Johnny?
Yes. No, Johnny is the
Oh,
one
we're
that
still in
runs.
the very beginning. We're in the beginning of the
Yeah.
show. Yep. No, I
Yeah.
remember now. I
So
remember.
Danny is still holding the grudge. 37 years he's holding this grudge. I mean, get over yourself, Danny. Now, granted, he is teaching Johnny's son, but I don't think he knows it's Johnny's son yet. And I think that they are intertwining the conflict because Johnny's first student, of course, is dating Danny's daughter.
Oh, there is such an intertwining happening. Oh, yes, you are
Right, yeah.
correct.
And those characters don't know the conflict. Now, I do like that Bobby, Johnny's son, and by the way,
You
what
mean
is it with
Robbie?
Robbie? Yes. Is it Robbie or Bobby?
It's Robbie.
Robbie. Okay. It still ends with a Y. What is it with all these names that end in Y? Bobby,
Well, you
Robbie,
gotta be.
Johnny, Danny. What? I mean, come on.
It's got to be cutesy. Come on.
Okay. But he is the only one that seems to be changing so far in a short period of time. He went from being a juvenile delinquent-ish to where his peer pressure buddies were saying, let's rob the car dealership. And this was the episode where he discovered that he was actually learning karate because when they tried to beat him up, he was able to deflect all their shit.
Yeah. I remember.
And then, they were like, you can't hide. And he's like, yeah, or you can't run. He says, yeah, but you can't hide. And he points up and there's the camera watching them. So.
I remember. Actually, I remember this scene. I just had a picture. I know exactly the scene you're talking about. Yep.
Right. Yep,
and they're crouched down and hiding on the. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm still not impressed with the show, but I'm going to give it a chance and I'm going to give it time to see where these characters go with that.
And how is hubby dealing with it?
Oh, he thinks it's great. I mean, he thinks it's the wonderfulest show in the world. And then, of course, I noticed that Last Week Tonight has new episodes, as does Great North. So we're caught up with them. And what are you watching these days, Mr. Taebyn?
This week, we've been watching Lucifer and Young and Hungry still. And, Man, Gabby's just like I think if you listen to me talking about the show over the course of time, I've been getting a little more. Well, let me just say, here's how it stands right now. Gabby is so selfish and annoying and whiny. Why am I still watching it? In the beginning, it was great. She was fine, but like after the last few episodes I watched like today and yesterday, it's like, why am I okay, fine, but she's so anyway, that's what we've been watching.
So whiny.
She is so selfish and whiny, and no, it's like, oh my Lord cow.
Lord cow. Wow.
Yeah, that's craziness right there.
That's a crazy Lord cow. Well,
that's a crazy cow. And I have a question for you, Bearly, in terms of media. Have you still been reading House Pets? Or where are you on that?
I have been reading House Pets. I'm reading the current ones as well as going back. And
okay.
the current ones, they're in a storyline that had to have happened someplace in what I haven't read yet. So I've kind of picked up on what's going on, but I have to figure out where it came from. The current episodes are all about the demons and everything coming back to Earth.
Okay.
And so it's kind of
and you know, like I remember last time we talked about this, you were noting that sometimes, like Rick Griffin, the author, kind of just throws in there, like characters will say things as if we know about them and some from previous episode or something, but it's like not. It's just like something he throws in. So maybe it's one of those things where you haven't connected the dots because you haven't read it, because it's not there.
Well, it's possible. I mean, the current storyline is that all the dogs went to heaven because a demon came up and they were playing D&D, and one of the demons came back to Earth because they wanted to play D&D and they weren't paying attention, and so they're taking over the planet now, and so it's very interesting.
That sounds. I am not that. I have only read through, I think, book 4. I think so. That sounds very interesting. I should keep reading.
Yeah, I mean it's online, so it's easy to read. I read it every morning, so that's what I'm doing with that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so we don't have a guest today because of severe weather. We had some connection problems with the person we were supposed to do this week, but so we're not going to have a guest.
And
which is okay.
And your poor well, like we talked about last week, your poor power, you're the poor one, but your poor power too was out for like 3 days, and that caused a little bit of hubruckus and scrutinantity
and hub ruckus. I'm writing those words down.
So for all our listeners, have barely started a list of Taebyn words, and so now we're like Vlander Shield or whatever that one was.
Whatever that was. So this week is a classic comedy bit week. Are you ready, Taebyn, to do our classic comedy bit?
I believe I am. We will find out when we attempt to do it.
So here we are. We're going to do the classic comedy bit of Abbott and Costello. It's actually 2 bits crunched together because it's the same. It was from one of their movies, and it took place 2 different times during the movie, but it makes sense to put them together to make it a little bit longer sketch. Yeah. So again, Taebyn will be playing the part of Bud Abbott, and I'll be playing the part of Lou Costello. No, reverse that. You're Lou Costello.
Yes.
I'm Bud Abbott. Yes.
And so Bearly will be playing the part of, say that again to make sure I get it right.
I'm Bud Abbott. You're Lou Costello.
You're Costello. And just to set the stage, as it were, Bud and I guess, we'll use us. Bearly and I are standing out on the countryside and looking at beautiful pastures with cows and things, and it's beautiful. And that's where we are, and that's where we begin talking.
Because we are hired as ranch hands.
Ranch paws. I don't think I knew that about this.
That's
okay. Yeah. That helps actually a lot.
That's right.
In the setup of this story.
We were hired as ranch hands for this ranch. So
as long as it's not, as long as I'm not dressing Violet, because that would be my ranch, and we know how I feel about that.
Ranch dressing. Right.
Yeah. I don't. Okay. Hi.
And here we go.
Oh, hey, Bearly, isn't it beautiful country out here?
Wonderful.
Look at all those cows out there. See that big bunch of cows?
Not a bunch, herd.
Huh?
Cow herd.
I beg your pardon?
Cow herd.
Cow herd what?
Not herd what, cow herd.
Cow herd what? I said, look at that big bunch of cows out there.
Not bunch, herd. Herd of cows.
Certainly I've heard of cows. Any fool knows a cow when he sees it. Now that's a good bunch of cows, is what I said.
It's a herd of cows.
Yeah, I heard of cows.
That's what they are.
A bunch of cows?
Sure, a bunch is a herd.
A bunch is a herd?
Certainly. What's the matter?
Oh, like bananas. Okay, I see what you're doing there. Yeah, so look at that bananas of cows out there.
Knock it off. Now let's go get some milk from the cows. You know how to milk a cow, right?
Do I know how to milk a cow?
Do you?
Milk a cow? Well, you get them to sit down and, how do you milk a cow, Bearly?
So you don't know how to milk a cow.
No.
You start from the back.
From the back?
You see, you take the bucket and you put it under the cow's udder.
Oh, okay. So the cow's they're what?
Not other what, the cow's udder.
So I take the bucket and I put it where?
Under the cow's udder.
The cow's other what? You have to put it under the cow's other something.
Not other something.
You can't put you can't put it under the cow's nothing.
Not under nothing. Not other nothing. The cow's udder.
But the cow's other what? You haven't even said what the first thing was. I can't know what the other thing is.
Not other what? You go directly to the source.
Huh?
You go right to the source.
Who's talking about the sauce? I want some milk. You want sauce? I'll pick some apples and give you some apple sauce.
No, you go right to the source. The cow's tanks.
What?
Tanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
There we go. That is the classic comedy bit of the cows from Abbott and Costello.
I have to find where I am because I lost my place. I'm back.
It's time for Furries in the News.
Chicken, up. Furries. I tell you, it is we are in the... You know what we're in? You know what we're in? We're in the... Bark.
And after all that, we have no furries in the news. Moving along. No.
Okay, that was a very nice build up to nothing.
Nothing other than the fact that BLFC has moved again.
Moved again like
Yes.
the cow I tried to milk but couldn't because I don't know where the other one is.
So this con thing is definitely a moving target. I swear. It's
a
they say
very
we're gonna
moving target.
Right. We're going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're going to do it. We're not going to do it. And, you know, and it's okay. I don't think that it's important. It's more important to be safe than have a con. That's my opinion.
It's true. No, I
Right,
would have to agree with that. I mean, they're trying and they know they might have to move, but they got to play. I think we talked about this last week or something. They got to plan ahead because it's a lot of work. So, no, I feel that most every fur really understands, and you know, we want to support the cons, and they want to support us, and I think we're all in it together, and we're trying, and there it is.
I mean, it's one of those things. We would all love to get together and hug and dance and have a great time, but I would rather not die afterwards.
Well, you know, that is a true. I would have to agree with that. Actually, so, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. So there you go. So
it's like that was such a great con. Oh my cow! It was such a great con that I died literally.
Right, yeah.
We don't want to.
No.
We don't want to do that. No.
We don't want Kron Cud. We don't want Con Crud to be
or Quran cut. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't want that to be a death sentence. So I understand you have 5 quick puns, and I'm going to respond with 5 quick puns as well.
Oh, my fluff. I don't know. I kind of like doing that. I started this segment, I guess you could call it, a few episodes ago, and I kind of like anyway, so I'm going to do it. And you're going to show me up like a pup.
No. I'm gonna throw some in there too. I won't do it every time, but I'll do it. So
throw the bone for this pup.
Tell me your puns.
Hi. Okay. So, cue the music. Bearly, I want to tell you some things. They're very important things that you should know. Are you ready to know these things?
I'm ready to know these things.
Well, the first thing is I can't take my dog to the pond anymore because the ducks keep attacking him. Well, I guess that's what I get for buying a purebred dog. With all this rain, we need an ark. Well, it's okay because I know a guy. Pirates cannot finish the alphabet because they lost at sea. I started telling everyone about the benefits of eating dried grapes. It's all about raising awareness. I accidentally rubbed ketchup in my eyes. Now I have hindsight.
Well, I have 5 things that you need to know. My friend Philip had his lip removed today. Now we call him Phil. They should make Minecraft a movie. It would be a blockbuster. If towels could tell jokes, they would probably have a dry sense of humor. It was an emotional wedding. Even the cake was in tears. Why is gambling illegal in Africa? Because there are too many cheetahs.
I'm going to have to listen to this again because I didn't. My brain can't catch up with that, I guess. I'm slow. I'm a slow pup. I didn't even get any of that. So I'm going to have to listen again.
All right. So let's move on to Storytime. I believe it is a Storytime this week.
It is.
And what do you have for us, Mr. Taebyn? Do you have a story?
Yeah, so this is a short little story that was a little while ago. Someone from the BFFT chat. Yes. Shout out to Trader Lenny for requesting that I read this on the show. This book is called Scooter the Fuzzy Wuzzy Puppy, written by Clarence Beers. And it's a fuzzy wuzzy book. 1949. It's a 1949 book.
Wow.
Yes.
It's older than your joke book.
It's even, it's like, it's like 19 years older than my joke book. And it was actually kind of hard to find. There was like only one left, so I'm lucky I got it. But thank you, Trader Lenny, for the recommendation. And here is the story of Scooter, the Fuzzy Wuzzy Puppy. Scooter, the pup, chased a rabbit far into the woods. Zip, zip, zip! The rabbit dodged among the trees and then disappeared. And there's a little picture of Scooter running, jumping, hopping after the bunny that's hopping into the woods. Scooter ran this way, and he ran that way. He couldn't find his way out of the woods. He's a lost pup.
A lost pup in the woods?
I know.
That's sad.
Who are you? Cried a voice in the treetops. Ozzy Owl blinked down at him. Blink. Ozzy is now in the forest, and he's an owl. And I wonder if he's making a show about Osborne. Anyway, Scooter jumped. Then he ran, and he ran, and he ran fast. He's a scary pup. In a little while, he lay down to rest. He put his head on his paws and closed his eyes. A deer came out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, actually, out of the bushes, and leaped right over him. A big black crow cried, caw, 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 ha, ha, ha. Funniest pup I ever saw. Just like that.
Just like that. Nice.
Poor Scooter, look at all the ridicule he's made. He's just a pup lost in the woods, and look at all this ridicule. Mm-hmm. Scooter whimpered and ran away. Ricky Raccoon watched him go and chattered, skitter, scatter, scoot, scoot, scoot. I'm not really actually sure why he did that, but he did.
Skitter, scatter, scoot, scoot,
scoot. Scoot, scoot.
Sounds like a country western song.
It does. Scooter, scatter, scoot, scoot, scoot. So shout out to Rain Raccoon if you're editing or listening to this or something. Scooter, I don't know if he likes country, but there it is. Scooter hurried away. Scooter hurried away. Blue Jays screamed at him, but now Blue Jays are screaming at him.
Wow.
Puppy. Hey, go away and don't come back another day. Oh, they're so mean, those Blue Jays. Birdies. Oh, God. I am in such turmoil right now. Oh, my cow. Just then, Bumper the Hound came loping. through the woods. He was loping.
Loping. Okay.
Loping. And if it were electronic, he'd be getting married because he'd be eloping. Stop that crying, Scooter! Bumper scolded. Why is he being all mean to the poor little Scooter now? It's like, stop it! Like, is he gonna give him something to cry about or something? Like, come on!
I'll give you something to cry about, young man.
Fluff! Scooter barked and wriggled and laughed. Oh, now he's laughing? Okay. I'm a little confused about what's going on, but apparently Scooter is masochistic pup. So Scooter barked and wriggled and laughed. He was so happy that he's being tormented now by he followed Bumper out of the woods. I think he probably knows Bumper. I think that's what's going on. Probably in a previous book we found out that Scooter and Bumper are friends, I guess. I don't actually know. That's my surmisation. When they reached Bumper's house, they had lunch. There was a big bone for Bumper and a little bone for Scooter. And you know what else? Do you know what else, Bearly?
Kibble? Was there kibble?
Even better. Sticks of peppermint candy for dessert.
Oh, peppermint candy.
The end.
Nice.
So there it is from 1949. Scooter having turmoil and nightmares in the woods. But the sadistic hound, Bumper, came out and took care of Scooter's. I'll just stop there because, wow, this is actually, if you think about it, this is actually pretty modern
There was
times.
a lot
I guess
of a lot of anger in those birds.
There's a lot of anger
those
in those Blue
birds.
Jays, especially those Blue Jays. I mean, wow! I tell you.
Well, I would say that we should get to. I want to see how your puppy logic is today.
Oh, okay. Let me hone. Okay, my puppy logic is going.
Okay, all right. I'm going to spin the wheel.
Okay.
And the category is geography. Are you ready?
Well, geography, I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm going to be so there.
This city has been in the news a lot, so you should know Pyongyang is the capital of which country?
China?
Close. It's North Korea.
Oh, snap. The things where you have Korean things that happen.
Yes, you have North Korean things. Yes.
even better, you have North Korean things that. Okay, great.
I don't think our podcast is listened to in North Korea, but it might be. We don't know. So
we'll find out after I said what I said.
Yes. Well, I mean, they are allies, China and Pyongyang.
Ah, okay.
So, okay, I'm going to spin the wheel again. And the category is.
Do you remember, just a quick segue is not the word, but quick whatever I do things. I get distracted. I said spin. And then all of a sudden I thought of medicinal things because I thought of the spin doctors. If you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. And anyway, okay. So I thought of that and keep going.
So the category is sports. And this is kind of a sports furry thing.
Oh.
All right. So the sport, I'm going to give you some clues.
Good.
So the sport is the name of an insect, and a rabbit refers to somebody who is bad at that sport. So take those clues and tell me what that sport is.
Okay, say those two clues again.
Okay, so a rabbit refers to someone who is bad at what sport? And this sport is got the same name as an insect.
Okay, so we're talking about a rabbit who's bad at that sport. So we're talking about, what was that bunny's name that I was born in Briar Patch?
Oh, that would be Brer Rabbit.
Brer Rabbit, of course, Brer Rabbit. Okay, so we're talking about Brer Rabbit, and it means he was bad at sports, but then there was an insect whose name was Brer, where in Argentina decided to get involved, and that rarely made any sense. Oh, okay, so this is totally coming together. So Argentina had something to do with thorn patches in the lion's paw, which the mouse was very good at taking care of. And the mouse was very useful. Okay, so ask me the question again. I think I got it.
Okay, a rabbit refers to someone who is bad at what sport?
Country.
No, it's cricket.
I was so close, actually.
You were very
because
close.
like mouse, there's this city
I
country
know.
mouse and the city mouse. So I figured it had to either be country or city. And we're talking about the cricket. And when you're in the city, when it's late at night, the crickets actually that's in the country that did. So I was so close.
You
I
were
was so
close. You were so close. So close. All right. Spinning the wheel again. Here it comes up. And the category is science.
Weird science.
What color is a polar bear's skin? Not his fur.
Not his fur, but the skin. Pink.
No, it's black.
Oh, we are learning. See,
You're
it's
learning
because
things.
I didn't invoke the puppy logic. I just thought I knew, so I said it. But that'll teach
Yeah.
me.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it would make sense that it would be pink. I mean, who would think that it was black? But
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
My puppy logic would have figured it out, though. So I gotta
Right,
do
right.
that next time.
Yeah. All right. So spinning the wheel. And the category is entertainment.
Entertainment. I've talked about how you can do a circle with entertainment, right? I'm pretty sure
Yes.
I've talked about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
for any fur that doesn't know, make a circle, like write entertain, and then the M ends if you make a circle at the beginning of the word, and then it leads into ent. So you get a circle of the word that says entertainment.
Let me entertain you. All right.
Moo,
So,
moo, moo.
all right. So you may know this, but I'm going to do this. Danger, danger, warning, warning. That does not compute. Were famous statements given by the robot in what 1960s intergalactic television series?
I'm even actually not going to use puppy logic on this one and just say how.
No.
Oh, I should. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Should
Danger,
we try that
danger,
again?
Will Robinson.
Okay.
Danger, danger, Will Robinson.
Okay, so maybe I'll try the puppy logic then, because the actual answer that I thought I knew didn't work. So Danger Will Robinson, he lived on an island, and there was a lot of danger involved, so there was creepy snipper fruits involved. Okay.
Snipper fruits.
Snipper fruits involved. And the snipper fruit, well, they eloped with the hinder fruit, and then they came back around to Gilligan because his island and the Robinson Island were very closely connected. Okay, I think I got it now. So what's the question again?
The robot from this series would often say, danger, danger, Will Robinson, warning, warning, and that does not compute.
I mean, the answer is obviously number 5.
Ah, Johnny 5.
Or Johnny 5. See, that's what I meant, Johnny 5. I knew I'd get it.
No, the answer is Lost in Space.
So there's a lot. This was an onion one. There was a lot of layers that were wrong.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just layers. They're wrong layers. It's like in French, they would call this dessert a tort because tort in French means wrong. And so we now have an onion French. French onion.
See. French onion. I love French onion soup. It's so good, especially with that gooey cheese on top. Yum, 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 yum.
As long as there's no sour cream.
No, there's no sour cream.
Oh, okay, then it's fine.
Big old slice of bread with melted cheese on top. Oh, it's so delicious.
And isn't that thing like they roast it or put it on fire or something or bake it or something?
They do bake it. Yes, it's baked.
Okay.
Yeah, they make the soup, put it in a little tureen, and then put the bread and the cheese on, and then put it under a broiler for like 5 seconds, and it goes
like an artichoke heart.
Have you heard of the show Lost in Space?
I have.
Okay. Have you watched the reboot on Netflix?
Actually, I think we watched some episodes. I don't remember how much, but I have seen some episodes of that.
Okay, because it's really, really good. If you
maybe I should keep watching it. I'll have to find out. I think this was a while ago. I'll have to find out where we are. But
yeah,
good to know. I'm glad this came up then.
Yeah, the robot in the reboot does not say danger, danger, warning, warning, and that does not compute. The robot in this one is very very scary and very, very dangerous.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you? So I wrote that down. I'll have to. We'll keep watching that then. Now that I think about it, I know who I was thinking about. Do you know who Hal was? It's an
Yes.
actual. Oh, you do. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Open the
I
pod
thought
bay
you
door,
probably.
Hal. Open the pod bay door,
Oh.
Hal.
Would you like to play a game of chess, Dave?
That was not Hal.
Oh, it was it. Oh,
No.
wow. There is so many dimensions in this pup's brain. I mean, like totally 3 different movies at the same time, and I don't even know what's going on.
Right. So Hal is the computer from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's what I was thinking of. Okay,
Right.
but that's different than the other things, apparently.
The other thing was, do you want to play a game? Came from the Whopper computer for, I forget the name of the movie.
War Games? Was that War Games?
War Games, yes.
Oh, okay. Would you like to get? But
with Matthew Broderick.
With Matt Broderick, and they played tic-tac-toe. I remember that.
Yes, in order to stop the thermonuclear explosions.
I mean, let's play tic-tac-toe. That'll do it, right?
He distracted the computer from launching all the missiles.
That's right. I want to watch that again. Oh my cow! But didn't Hal say, "Wouldn't you like to play a game of chess"?
I don't think so. Maybe
someone did somewhere, and I don't.
I'm thinking that's Whopper. I'm thinking that's the Whopper on War Games.
He might have said, "Would you like to play a game of chess?" Oh, yes. That is very. Oh, this is totally last time today for next time. We need to find out, because you're right. I think it might have been the War Games. I think said, "Would you like to play a game of chess too?" But then Matthew Broderick came in and did the tic-tac-toe thing. Right. I am really excited actually to hear next week's Pupisode to find this out.
Does that mean I have to look it up?
Or I
do,
can.
don't
I? You do, but maybe I will too. So,
all right,
I still do totally want to play that game or play that game. Watch that game again. I still do really want to watch that show again. I don't even know what's going on there. The cats are dogs, and there's like ants in top hats running around with their flamingo fruit, and it's just I don't even know what's going on.
Okay.
We've now got flamingo fruit.
Flamingo fruit. Okay. So we have one more category, and I'm not even going to spin the wheel because it's just the last category.
Okay.
And it's literature. And
that was my impersonation of Jean-Luc Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard. Okay. So, who is the subject of the biography titled "The Man Who Would Not Shut Up"?
Taebyn?
No, that would be the pup who would not shut up.
Oh, right. No, right. There is a difference. Okay, the man that would not shut up. Okay, so the name of the what?
Who's the man that would not shut up?
Donald Trump.
You would think so, but it's Bill O'Reilly.
Oh, okay. Actually, okay. Got it. So I apparently know whose best friend I am, because I am the pup that would not shut up. And so, okay, there you go.
Yes.
Okay.
There you
got
go.
it. Got
there
it.
You go. All right.
Good times, good stuff. Got it.
Good times, good stuff. Well, you know what? We didn't need a guest to fill up our time. We filled up quite a bit of time today. just you and I rambling on and on and on.
So, how do you even deal with me, Bearly? That's so amazing. Well, I guess
you are so much fun.
Oh, now you get cookies and hugs because you are just like that. And I guess if you didn't have me, this pupisode would only be like 2.5 minutes long. But since I am the pup that won't shut up, now it's 2.5. So there you go, 2.5 hours.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, where does the time go? I'm looking at the time, and it's like it's much like a clock in an airplane. Time does fly when we get together.
If you're on a long flight that has lunch and has a butter or a biscuit that you can put butter on, you're in your atrium because you have a lot of butterfly.
An atrium? Wow.
Because butterflies are an atrium. I don't know.
Wow.
There was a lot of, again, we talked about the horrible layers. There was a lot of that. I have another French onion right now.
There you are. Awesome. I just the fact that you use the word atrium just impresses me.
Me too, actually. Now that you mention that.
Well, again, if you can help support the show, please do so. Please send us a message. We would love to read your messages online. We would love to read them on the show. We would love to hear from you. We would love for some furs to come into the 5-Minute Furs again. We seem to have lost interest in that. Again, it's been several weeks now and nobody's come in.
So maybe we'll have to next week, what's the word? Threaten to get rid of the 5-Minute Furs section. Because we've done this twice, I think, where we threatened to get rid of it, and that's what prompted us to get several furs to show up. And so maybe we have to do that again.
Send us a message on Twitter. Send us a message on bearlyfurcasting.com. We're approaching the 500 followers on Twitter. So hopefully we will get to that 500 mark pretty quick. So that would be kind of
Follow
nice.
us on Twitter.
Send us a message on Twitter. Send us a message here, there, everywhere. And we would love to hear from you. And I'm going to say my goodbyes now. And I'm going to say, remember, everybody, until next week, stay furry.
And I say, again, in case you didn't know, my name is Taebyn. I am a pup, bark bark. And thank you so much for listening to our show on this eve or morning or night or whenever you're listening to it. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. We love to entertain you, help keep the community together in our own little way by just, being a niche. I don't know why I say it like that, but there it is. Niche to help us just, be together as a community again. So thank you. If any fur is listening and we love you, we will hug again in the fur, in the fluff, and it'll be great. And so I hope you like it. Keep listening. I hope. I say keep listening. I don't mean that as like a demand. You better keep listening or else I will take your cookie away or something like that. I'm just saying, I hope you keep listening. Join us next time. We'll talk at you. We'll tell really bad jokes. We will be us, and that will be horrible. But hopefully you'll like horrible. Anyway, I say thank you again. We love you. Have a good day. See you next time. Bark, bark.
Barely Furcasting is an Injured Nerves studio production and is found on all major podcast platforms or can be heard directly at barelyfurcasting.com. The opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and their guests, and no commercial compensation was granted. The Furcast is produced, recorded, and directed by me, Barely Normal, aka Mike Began, and is edited by myself and our associate editors Rain Raccoon and Bixby Wolf. Opening and closing theme music, as well as some interstitial music, was created for Injured Nerves Productions for the use on the podcast by our music associate Regday with Damian Tanuki. If you would like to hear more music by Regday, you can search for Tweezerbeak on Bandcamp or Hoop Loop Tunes on SoundCloud. Other interstitial and background music by Shane Ivers through silvermansound.com and the YouTube free use library. If you would like to send us a message, you can do so via email at barelyfurcasting@gmail.com or on our Telegram chat at BFFTchat, on Twitter, on our Facebook page, or on the barelyfurcasting.com webpage. You can support the show through donations at ko-fi.com/barelyfurcasting or through Patreon at patreon.com/barelyfurcasting. Thanks for listening. We hope you come back and listen next week.